Now stay tuned to the following radio broadcast.
You're listening to the Victory Station, AM 1360. We're glad you chose us. Thank you.
It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African-American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And now, here's the host, the publisher of the award-winning Florida Star, Clara McLaughlin.
Well, hello, this is Opio, and you're tuned into Impact. Great show lined up for you today. You definitely don't want to miss this one. We have candidate Gerald Wilkerson. He's going to be on, and he's running for circuit judge. Oh, you don't want to miss this one because it's Halsey that he's running against. You remember Halsey's name in the news? That was the judge that they said black people need to be put on a boat and sent back to Africa. Please give me my trip. I would love to go again. Africa is incredible place with so many wonderful countries. So we got that lined up. Also, we're going to talk about the Olympics. So we got a Jamaican that's going to come on since Usain Bolt just did such an incredible job. But you know our girls, they went out and did some great things, and our guys too, and swimming and running. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And then we got a little bit more political stuff as we have the owner, Clara McLaughlin. We'll be on the phone with her at the end of the show. So y'all stay tuned right here on Impact. This is Opio. Make sure you pick up a copy of the Florida Star newspaper. Continue to support us. And those candidates who decide that you don't want to spend any money with the Florida Star, that means that you don't give a damn about the black vote. Okay? That means you don't care enough, because guess what? Those people that read that old newspaper, they vote, and they vote in a high percentage. And they even look at the people in the paper and businesses in the paper, and they see who frequent it, and they're very conscientious about supporting who support us. So just letting you know. All right, on the phone, I got Gerald Wilkerson. He is running for circuit judge. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I was just so excited all day. I knew I was going to talk to you because we've done interviews about Halsey, who you're running against, and we've seen people out here just really angry at some things that he said. But you're not trying to win because he's a bad guy. You're trying to win because you are the perfect person for the job, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, number one, sir, I was raised very poor. I grew up in Miami, Florida, area called Carroll City, which is a predominantly black area. And I grew up as the only white family around. And basically, I grew up in the projects, is what you want to call it.
Okay.
And I'm talking about food stamps and government cheese projects, okay?
Right, oh yeah.
Okay, now I understand that not all black people are poor, you know, and just like all.
I was. Okay, so I can relate.
Yes, sir. So but I grew up with that around me, and when you grow up poor, you don't see color. You just see the people around you. You're all trying to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm. Has that upbringing allowed you to be able to see some of the injustices in the criminal justice system?
Oh, absolutely. Because one of the greatest injustices, obviously, aside from blatant racism that minorities face, one of the greatest things that minorities face, or problems that minorities face, is socioeconomic adversity.
Right.
And socioeconomic, I feel like if we address socioeconomic adversity, while we won't eliminate all the problems, that will eliminate a lot of the problems that minorities have in the justice system.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, if you go on social media, you will see all of these different memes, all of these different stories of how the black person received this big sentence for something small, and the white guy received the small, if a sentence at all, for rape and something big. Is it really that prevalent, or is social media just being social media? Do whites get lesser sentencing from prosecutors and judges and so on?
Well, I see the same stories and everything that everybody else sees, but I can tell you myself, as a criminal defense attorney, I never let that happen on my watch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't tell you that I've heard horror stories, and whenever I've heard it, I've done my best to try to address it by telling fellow attorneys, hey, look, I had a client in the same situation who was white that only got this much time, for example. And a lot of times those attorneys have been able to go back and use that information to go back to the state attorney and say, hey, look, this person was white, this person was black, but in this case over here, this person got a much better sentence. What's going on? And when you bring it up and you make it, you publicize it, you make them aware of it. That's really how you solve the problems.
Right.
So yes, it definitely happens. There's no doubt about it. I remember when I was a public defender, I used to see that all the time, but I couldn't tell how much of that was socioeconomic and how much of that was outright racism.
Right.
I can tell you that I have seen poor people treated wrongly also, and given higher sentences because a lot of times they can't afford the bonds or they can't afford the fines to avoid jail time, and they can't afford effective counsel and those sorts of things.
The drug war, everybody kind of know the gig is up. It's just horrible. Some of the impact, particularly where it reached blacks, just did some horrible things in our communities, made communities more unsafe. We have a criminal justice system where people, if they decide to go ahead and go to court, instead of getting 18 months, they might get 18 years. Right. You have these habitual offender laws. I got a friend in jail right now, 30 years, nonviolent, low-level drug offender, 30 years because he's decided to go to court and they consider him an habitual offender. How do you deal with that as a judge?
Well, a judge has to follow the law, but I can't tell you that what I would do as a judge is I would look at the background and I would look and see, is this person a user, okay? If a person's a user, they need to be treated differently than if a person is a predator. There's some people that just sell drugs just to make money and they don't care about the harm they're causing. But the drug war itself has caused its own harm. There's no doubt about it. And in a lot of ways, it's just a vicious cycle. And I can tell you that I think that some of the sentences that I've seen for minor drug offenses are just astronomical. I remember that I had a case one time where this young man was sentenced to 27 years in prison for one little crack rock.
Right.
For one little crack rock. And I personally just thought that was just unreal. It's like there's no value of human life. The value of a human's time and a human's life is just, I see it differently than a lot of people. And perhaps that's because I grew up poor, and I have been a defense attorney for so long that I see it that way. But by the same token, there are predators out there, and let's not fool ourselves, okay? But the drug war has caused a devastating effect on our community.
Now, these judicial canons, my goodness, it almost make you feel like you can't say or do anything. Tell me how understanding the judicial canons have created or how you reacted to it, reacting to it in your campaign.
Well, the judicial canons, do you mean in terms of being able to speak freely about
Right. I mean, a million things that you have to watch out for.
Oh, there's so many things that you have to be wary of and be careful of. And I have done my utmost to toe the line and to not violate those canons. It's very difficult because sometimes there's just a lot of gray in the canons. Like words like reasonable and words like unreasonable and things like that. How do you define those things? So, you don't really have a set guidelines of what you can and can't do. There's just a lot of, well, you shouldn't go near that area over there. You shouldn't go near that area over there. So I've done my best to go. I'm a very outspoken person. I'm very opinionated. And that's been difficult for me to run as a judge because I am very opinionated. But, this is what I chose to do. And I have to live by those canons. I knew when I went into this that that's what I would be dealing with, and that's what I've chosen to do, and so I'm not going to complain about it.
This is Opio. I'm speaking to Gerald Wilkerson. He is running for circuit judge. And, I just could not imagine being a judge and having that type of power. Tell people what your style is going to be. Now, you can walk in a courtroom. Some judges are like, I'm going to give away 5,000 years and I'm going to hide you. Are you the guy that believes in second chances, or you just believe that, you know what, every single case is case by case, and we just have to be able to tell what type of style judge I'll be after a year or two?
Well, I can't tell you that I am the type of person. You know, for the last 16 years, I've been doing criminal law, defending people accused of crimes, and I think that the sentencing that's been going on has been very, very astronomically high, unreasonably high, to be honest. And I think the bonds that have been set have been unreasonably high. And I do believe in second chances, absolutely. And I believe in common sense, and I believe in mercy, and I believe in fairness. And if I'm a judge, I will be a fair and unbiased judge. But you know, a judge has to look at each case separately and individually. And a judge has to take into consideration the impact that his decision will have not only on the defendant but on the community and also on the victims in the case. But yeah, I don't believe in this throwing lives away and using bonds to get free jail time and that kind of stuff. So I will not be that type of judge. I can promise you that.
All right, before I let you go, tell us why the people should vote for Gerald Wilkerson.
People should vote for Gerald Wilkerson because I am the most qualified candidate in terms of my professional and my personal experiences. I am a veteran of the United States Army. I am married with 2 children. I graduated from the University of Florida with honors. And I have a superb rating with AVO and a preeminent ethical rating with Martindale Hubble. I was also the former vice president of the Jacksonville Miracle League. So I've served our community in many ways, and I would like to serve our community as a judge. And I believe that I am the most qualified candidate.
All right, Mr. Gerald Wilkerson, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, y'all, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Olympics right here on Impact.
Now you know the Florida Star, Northeast Florida's largest and oldest, most read African-American newspaper, serving since 1951 in more than 200 locations. The Florida Star, news you can use, news you can trust, the people's choice, striving to make a difference. The Florida Star is serving over 230,000 African-Americans living in Northeast Florida that generate $5.2 billion in buying power. Read the Florida Star weekly newspaper and find out where your money's being spent and on what. Read the Florida Star and learn what your city and state representatives are doing on your behalf. Read the Florida Star and learn how to support your neighborhood businesses. Read the Florida Star and learn how to receive city health and community services. The Florida Star received the first Eagle Award by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for being most factual. The Florida Star solely addresses issues of concerns for African Americans. The Florida Star carries local, state, national, and international news regarding African Americans. Subscribe today at 904-766-8834. The Florida Star, speaking truth to power.
All right, this is Opio. You're tuned into Impact, the show that brings you news and views. Make sure you pick up a copy of the Florida Star. We got an issue coming out tomorrow. Go and pick it up off your local newsstands. All right, we want to talk about the Olympics. Just a really incredible Olympics in Rio. Beautiful, beautiful country with a large number of black people, black, beautiful people. And boy, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Cool Runnings, where they had the bobsled team from Jamaica, and such an incredible story. Well, boy, they got a guy that Usain Bolt just running his butt off from Jamaica. And you're happy to see it. You wish somebody from the U.S. to beat him, but hey, you got a black person doing well around the world, you support him. I got on the phone, I got my man Ian. How you doing, Ian?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing this evening?
Man, I'm doing good, but I know you just happy about Usain Bolt. You ever met him or anything?
Man, I'm happy about Usain Bolt and the entire Team Jamaica. So they performed well, and they did what they went to Rio for, and they brought home the gold.
Yes, they did, boy. That Usain, man, is he smiling while he's running across the is that easy for him?
And many people say that he could do much
faster than that. Yes.
Because every time that he runs, he either slow down and look behind him to see how far they are from behind him, or he smile at the camera.
The last race he did, he was behind like it was no big deal. Then those legs just, I mean, the guy's like road running. His legs just start moving. Next thing you know, he's running past those guys like they standing still. I'm talking about world-class athletes like they're standing still.
Definitely.
What are they eating over there in Jamaica, man?
The yam, the banana, the ackee and starfish that make the national dish and make body strong, you know?
Y'all probably eating ganja, mix that with your cereal, and say, hey, if you smoke a little bit of ganja, you can run all day, and then you could beat the Americans, you could beat the Cubans, you could beat everybody. And then you got the wonderful music, and so it seems like, you know, if you believe the hype, you believe that everything is just irie if you live in Jamaica.
Yeah, well, it can be, you know, I mean, Jamaica is one of the most beautiful places on the planet, and of course, you know, the climate is just super beautiful. We have all kind of waterfalls, and the beaches are pristine. So we have a lot to offer in Jamaica. You know, there are some drawbacks. Yes, there is a little bit of violence that is everywhere in the world these days.
Right.
You know, but you know, beyond that, you know, we have some amazing things to offer in Jamaica. You know, and Jamaicans have been producing so much different things and putting out to the world. You know, I mean, things that we're not known for. You know, you mentioned earlier in the top of the interview that we had bobsled teams and so forth and so on, but we don't have ice in Jamaica, you know.
Right.
We don't have snow and so forth and so on. And you know, Jamaica this year put this Olympic, I should say, put for the first time, you know, we have ballet. We have a young lady that did ballet.
Man.
She did not place, but we're there.
Yeah, man, y'all doing all kinds of. How do you have a bobsled team but not? But see, that's a Marcus Garvey type of mentality. And in his birth month, it's like you don't let anything stop you. You say that we need boats and ships for international trade. Boom, the Black Star Line in the 1920s, Marcus Garvey. And so when you talk about greatness coming out of there, I mean, sometimes people look at Jamaicans different from people in Cuba, and different than people that look that's from here. But man, you know, it was all during that slave trade that we were brought all over here, and probably some of us on the same boat, but end up different countries over the course of a century or two.
Mm-hmm. And I tell you, man, it doesn't matter. You know, Peter Tosh sing a song, and he say, it doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we, you know, there are some of us that are dropped off in Jamaica, and some of us that are dropped off in Cuba and here in the United States and so forth and so on. But you know, there is a little difference in terms of how we were brought up and how we were conditioned to think.
That's right.
You know, but we still have that innate African spirit within each and every one of us. And when we start to recognize it and start bringing it out, then we start finding the Hussein Bolts and so forth and so on. You know what I mean? So we just have to dig deep. And as Garvey said, you know, let you be your own voice.
That's right. Now, before you go, I know you got that Carib Fest, and those of y'all don't know, this is the guy that put together the Carib Fest. Tell us what's going on this year, and when is it, and all that, before I let you go.
Carib Fest, we have a few festivals that we do. Carib Fest, we did in June 18th.
Jerk Fest, the Jerk Fest.
Right, and we did the Carib Fest in June. It's Caribbean Heritage Month, and we did the Carib Fest there. And we also now we're we are producing the Jerk Fest, and the Jerk Fest is going to be right here at the Jacksonville Landing, and we want to make sure everybody come out for the Jerk Food Festival on September 4th, and we're going to have artists like Papa Michigan, Bushman, Mr. Melody, Jay Stone. A lot of people know Pili Pili, been here over 25 years doing his thing on the beaches and everywhere in Jacksonville. We've got a new group that is burning up the place here in Jacksonville called Split Tones, Carlsworth, and so much more on the bill. You know, Lionheart, Tony Bourne, and so much more. So we're bringing a variety of acts to Jacksonville, to the city of Jacksonville, to the Jacksonville Landing, for everyone to come out and enjoy. Everyone to, from the baby to the granny. We're going to have bounce houses. Of course, we're going to have all kind of vendors with all kind of jerk food. And we will, we're just going to have a bar. We're just going to have a good time here at in Jacksonville, at the Jacksonville Landing,
All right, my friend Ian, I appreciate it, my brother.
This is our 4th annual. And all the listeners that's listening to you right now, I want you to know that this festival is going to be absolutely free. So come on down.
All right, when is it again?
September 4th, Labor Day weekend. There's no work on Monday. It's on a Sunday. No work on Monday, and it's 4 o'clock in the evening. Start at 4, end at 1, and no work next day. So you can stay out and enjoy yourself and sleep in the next day.
All right. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, man.
This is Opio right here on Impact.
Do you know what media received the first Eagle Award by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for being the most factual? The Florida Star. Do you know which media solely addresses issues of concern for African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know which media carries local, state, national, and international news regarding African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know the only media that carries a special section for our youth at home and the schedule for 3 black television networks? Now you know the Florida Star. Northeast Florida's largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper, serving since 1951 in more than 200 locations. The Florida Star. News you can use, news you can trust. The people's choice, striving to make a difference. Subscribe today. Call 766-8834. That's 766-8834. Pick up the Florida Star at over 200 locations, or to have it delivered, call 766-8834. The Florida Star, speaking truth to power.
All right. So happy that you have black media that can do such wonderful things and make sure we get the information out. Make sure they inspire you, like right here, WCGL. The radio station's been around for a while and doing some great work in the community. Y'all have to make sure that you come with your dollars and get your advertisement right here on this radio station right here. You have to make this radio station to where it's bigger and bigger and bigger, and the black people that own it and work for it, they are richer and richer and richer, so we can make sure we're telling our stories. So make sure y'all support WCGL. Make sure y'all support this radio station right here, 1360. And make sure y'all pick up the Florida Star newspaper. And my goodness, it ain't no other way for us to do it but this way, and I'm talking about making sure we get the big things done. All right, who do we have on the phone right now?
Congresswoman Corrine Brown.
Congresswoman Corrine Brown, let me tell you this. Clara said you make sure you get Corrine on this phone because I'm so busy getting this paper out, and I want to make sure everybody know that I am formally endorsing Corrine Brown. That comes from Clara McLaughlin.
You Florida Star. I don't know what we would do without the Florida Star communicating to people in our community, getting the word out. This Stephen Church had such a wonderful word from Pastor James, Greg James from Tallahassee. He's been helping me with the getting the word out. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for the media, and really primarily the African American press and the way we communicate, people would not know of the work that the African American black elected officials do for the community.
That's right.
I mean, it's not that we don't work hard. It's just that you choose not to take our message out.
Right.
You know, let the work we've done speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we've been in this battle a long time fighting for our people. I tell people all the time, President Clinton, President Bush, and then Barack Obama. It's President Barack Obama.
That's right.
And he accomplished something that all of the other presidents since Theodore Roosevelt could not do. Comprehensive health care. And you know what they say, comprehensive health care. That is so important.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now,
he did not vote for it. I did. And
Right.
proud of it. He signed it into law. But our people need health care. And it would be much better for the people in Florida. We send about $50 billion that we tax you. Don't get me started. Thank you, Florida Star.
now, you're telling the people to get on out there one more time and push the lever for you, right?
Oh, absolutely. Now, that's the problem. We're having a low turnout.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you something. With a low turnout and the rain's supposed to be coming, we could be in real serious trouble. And so this weekend, we got all kinds of activities. We're going to have going to Jerome Brown and going to the chicken place. And when you vote, come on out and we're going to celebrate together. But you must vote, and we need large numbers.
Now, that person that might be like, well, you know, my vote is won't count. It's just one vote. I can probably stay home. Why should that one person go out and vote?
Remember, I told you in Green Coast Springs, the lady won by 7 votes.
Wow.
And what a nightmare it would have been if we had woke up that Wednesday and we lost because it was by 1 vote. No, 1 vote makes a difference.
Right. Now, there are people here that got a lot of friends in Tallahassee.
Yes.
What should they say to those Tallahassee people to make sure that they know that you can deliver for them?
Well, you know, you call them and tell them about the things that we've done. But you understand, I am a Florida A&M.
That's right.
And I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Florida A&M.
Right.
And so I've never forgotten who took me to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Never, ever. And so we just got the largest transfer in the history of the United States to a black college. We just gave Florida A&M 3,800 acres right out of Bushdale so that they can be independent.
That's right. That's right. All right, I got to get out of here. Congresswoman Corrine Brown, thank you so much and good luck to you. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. We will see you next time. This is Opio. Y'all continue to support us right here on Impact.